Hey everyone, it's Chris, and I'm going to start to introduce to you meditation. So let's see, today is Tuesday the 28th, Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday will be a peak exploration and meditation. Tomorrow will again be some further in-depth information on how to handle what's happening in meditation. Listen, so for every 50 of you that maybe learn the meditation that I'm going to share with you, 2 or 3 of you are going to have profound experiences. You're ready for it. Your mind is ready for it. Your body is ready for it. The rest of you, some of you will have, that's cool, now I know what meditation is, or you already knew what meditation is, and here's a new way to do it. And some of you won't experience anything, and that's fine. There's got to be something for everybody, and maybe meditation just isn't your thing yet. Maybe it is. Okay, but I've been very cautious to prepare you all for this because, you know, like I've said before, it's possible to kind of go a little crazy or just to get really agitated. I don't want you to have a bad experience, and so I'm teaching you something. This is the second part to gesturing with your legs. The question, I posted a video, and the question was, how are my legs clarifying my spine? This is the second part of it. How are my shoulders clarifying my spine? So it goes along with what David Garrett calls the spotlight imagery. I like to call it windows or mirror imagery. Same principle, imagining horizontal planes at key anatomical points on your body to bring a little bit more alignment, awareness. Because when we're dealing with meditation and all of the lessons I've taught you for chakras so far, we've gone over the lower 6 chakras. Get on the screen here, the lower 6 chakras. The 7th chakra is the crown, and that's where all meditation is going to take place. So we're concluding with the crown chakra. And then that's going to lead us into more things. But the 7 chakras that we've been talking about all lie on a meridian. And they are in communication with each other via something called nadis. Nadis are just like little energy tubules, little highways of energy that are separate from the nervous system. It's a subtle energy, the things that auras are made of, the things that chakras are made of, the things that prana and chi are made of. You could think of them as a chi line. And there's 3 main nadis in the body. There's Ida, the feminine nadi, Pingala, the masculine nadi. The feminine would go on the left side of the body, which is eventually will do alternate nostril breathing. The masculine, Pingala, goes down the right side of the body. And they crisscross. The central and main nadi is Sushumna, the most glorious channel. And as you meditate, or you might have already experienced it if you try to sit and do pranayama, or some of you have just experienced it, I know, from personal communication, in other things like just doing your yoga practice. You feel a surgence of energy, usually in the upward direction. Sometimes you feel it in the downward direction, and that's traveling on Sushumna nadi. Okay, so Sushumna is what is connecting all of your chakras. Okay, I'm preparing you because this is something that might happen during the yoga experience or during the meditation experience. So that's fine. We don't want to get caught up in that. That's not the goal. That is a distraction. That's a siddhi. That's a superpower. But don't get distracted in it. The superpower will take you off the path. You embrace the superpower as a tool on your tool belt as you walk the path. Okay? So, one way to ground yourself, because it is usually an upward flying energy. It's called the Kundalini or the Kundalini Chakti in some traditions. We don't need to get into that right now. There's a surgence of energy that will fly up and to bring you back to your body, to stay grounded, because what good is meditation if you don't have a body? You don't want to be a disembodied spirit. But I'm teaching you meditation because you don't want to be a disenchanted body either. So we bring it back to these common principles, spotlight imagery. Okay, so in how do my legs clarify my spine, I went over the talus, the tibial plateau, the pelvic floor, and the rim of the pelvis. Those are 4 lower body, if you count the pelvis as a lower body, those are 4 lower body horizontal planes that allow you to internally experience how your legs gesture. And how your legs are gesturing, utilizing the question, how are my legs clarifying my spine, naturally brings your awareness to the groin area, to the pelvic area, to the sacral area, and it actually helps you clarify your spine. Okay, so the 4 upper spotlights, which we've already covered in the relieving kyphosis video, how to relax your tongue, is the crown, which is just the top of your head, just the top of your head. Imagine a horizontal plane, the top of your head. The tongue, soft palate region. I prefer the tongue, but it's useful also to understand where the soft palate is. The hard palate right behind the teeth, and you go further back in the mouth, and it becomes soft. That's the soft palate. So you imagine a horizontal plane at the soft palate and a horizontal plane at the crown. The third is the first rib, or T1. So if you reach at the base of your neck, there's usually a little bump in your spine. I have a larger bump than most. I've seen bigger, but that's the kyphosis region, where the cervical, the neck spine meets the rib cage spine, the thoracic spine. That bump is T1, which is thoracic vertebra 1. That means a rib is attached to it. It's a thoracic vertebra if a rib is attached to it. So T1 is rib 1. Rib 1 comes around and underneath the collarbone. So right underneath, if you can find your collarbone, right underneath it, that's first rib. So it actually is at a slant because my T1 is higher than the manubrium, which is where the collarbones come together. So the ribs are actually at a slant. They don't go straight horizontal. And they're actually a fanning outward. So the top of the rib cage is narrower than the bottom of the rib cage. It's like almost like an upside down funnel. That will help you because then the next spotlight, the final spotlight, is the floating rib area. You choose which floating rib do you want. You know, T12, T11, whatever. Imagine a horizontal plane at the floating rib. So what you'll see a lot of times is, is you'll see people's ribs poke out and you want to pull that in. And that's using the horizontal spotlight at the floating ribs. So 4 spotlights. Horizontal plane at the crown, horizontal plane at the soft palate, horizontal plane at rib 1, horizontal plane at floating ribs. If you can do those 4, which is simply your imagination. You sit, you stand, whatever. Right now I'd recommend practicing it sitting. And imagine that horizontal plane with a camera, a video camera looking down to the next horizontal plane, with a camera looking down to the next horizontal plane, with a camera looking down to the final horizontal plane. And then back up again, there's a camera looking up here at the T1, there's a camera looking up to the soft palate with a camera looking up to the crown. And bring them all over top of each other. And that is a preparation for meditation because that is a meditation in itself. You're meditating on the central axis of the body, which, tying it all together, brings you back to Sushumna, the central, the most glorious nadi, the most glorious channel, Sushumna. And of course, I highly recommend, I'll link it to this video, looking at the kyphosis video again, learning how to relax the tongue back under the soft palate. Because tomorrow we're going to start getting into meditation, so I highly recommend that you watch this video and put it into practice. The 4 upper spotlights: crown, soft palate, rib 1, floating ribs. Relax the body and allow these 4 spotlights to settle. Let them reset. Set themselves over top of each other. Don't try to flex muscles to bring them in alignment over each other because your proprioception is probably skewed from reality. Most people, their proprioception is skewed from the reality. If you close your eyes and point your fingers and try to bring your fingers together, chances are you're probably going to miss. Go wider, close your eyes, bring your fingers together, you're probably going to miss because your proprioception is different from your idea of where your body is. So don't try to use your idea to align your body. Just use your mind to imagine 4 spotlights. Imagine them stacking over each other. and just relax as you sit. Do this for a minute or two or longer, and you'll be prepared to ground if anything should happen during a meditation that you get a little carried away. You just bring it back to the central axis. Namaste.